Hi, so I am going to be doing kind of like a hybrid between a presentation and just kind of explaining the slides while I'm on the webcam as well. And so I am going to explain the gummy bear presentation experiment that I just did, kind of comparing the effects of like hypertonic, hypotonic solutions and kind of demonstrating that within a somewhat common object in your household. I don't know if you tend to hold gummy bears around the house. Okay. Oh, went a little too quick. So for this experiment, I bought a pack of gummy bears, and I ended up using 3. So one for one that was soaked the 6 to 10 hours. I think I did around 8 hours. Just like while I slept, and I did one in distilled water, and then I did one with saltwater solution. And so for both of them, I think I did around 8 hours, and then I have one normal gummy for comparison. And I will show you those in just a bit. So for my results, I did not end up getting exactly what I'd expected, or really what the experiment tends to call for. As I believe, I can show you. So for comparison, this is the normal gummy, and as you can see on the screen, this was the one that I used like as a control kind of for comparison method purposes. As you can see, this is the, oh my gosh, it's hard even lifting it up. This is the gummy bear that was soaked in the distilled water. So comparatively much, much larger. And then for comparison to the big gummy bear that was soaked in the distilled water, this is the saltwater one. So I don't know if you can quite tell. I think the picture will do a better job comparing them. But the saltwater one, as you can see, it did not end up shrinking as I'd expected. I think maybe there's just an issue with measurements, that I maybe put in a little bit too much water or something like that, because I did put in a good amount of salt, just like enough for it to dissolve as the instructions had said. But essentially the distilled water gummy bear did end up swelling up quite a bit more than the original gummy bear, which one obviously just stayed the same. But yeah, the only flaw in this experiment I'd say would most likely just be the measurements with the saltwater gummy bear, which ended up making it a little bit bigger than anticipated. But still smaller than the distilled water gummy bear, however. So yeah, as I explained the results, they're on the slide as well too. Due to osmosis, the water had to leave the saltwater gummy to create kind of the even concentration without the distribution of the solution of like salt water for the gummy bear. And then the opposite obviously happened for the distilled water gummy. There was too much water surrounding it, and so in order to even out the distribution and the concentration, it needed to go into the gummy bear, like the water flow. And so I was just looking into this experiment a little bit more, and I saw that this was just kind of like an experiment because it was saying that osmosis works the same for gummy bears as it does for us, and this was just kind of like an experiment to put that idea in your head of just like how this could potentially work for humans too. And so as I was explaining earlier about the different types of solutions, so this is kind of like another in-depth explanation about what I explained before. But so since the saltwater gummy bear had the low initial concentration of water, it was indicative of like a hypertonic solution. And since the distilled water gummy bear had a higher concentration of water, which is typically indicative of a hypotonic solution, that is kind of like why the water ended up going into the bear, thus like creating a larger bear essentially. But yeah, if I were to redo this experiment, I would definitely focus a little bit more on the measurement of the hypertonic solution, just to get it more even and kind of see it shrink. I think that'd be cool. But even like noticing throughout the night, like I even woke up to go get myself a glass of water, and I could see already, like especially for the hypotonic solution for the distilled water gummy bear, I saw that it grew very quickly. So I think it's interesting to see like how quickly / slowly these reactions can go, because this one was definitely like a very fast-paced experiment, I'd say. But it was really indicative, I'd say, of it was very easy to kind of piece together what was supposed to happen, and I just thought that was like a really cool experiment to do. So hopefully you enjoyed my explanation and my pictures, and hopefully it's somewhat easy to see the comparisons on the last slide, because I know it wasn't as easy in like on my screen. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much for assigning this experiment, and it was very interesting to do.